in chapter 20 that actually says that God uses the great prophet, the great statesman, as a object lesson for him to walk naked and barefooted with his buttocks out.
Yes, sir.
For years. It's just a strange lesson.
Yes, sir. Really strange.
What? Brother Roy is back.
Brother, why? No, not yet, sir.
But we are going kind of late, and I wanted to give a little brother in class, although time short. But strange lesson I've got. Strange lesson.
Yes, sir.
You know, it started out in the year that Tartan came to Ashdod when Sargon, the king of Assyria, sent him, and he fought against Ashdod and took it. Strange lesson. Strange lesson. At the same time, the Lord spoke by Isaiah, the son of Amos, saying, go and remove the sackcloth
From your body. Yes, sir.
That's what I've done.
Yes, sir.
Go and remove the sackcloth. Go and remove your clothing from your body and take your sandals off or your shoes off your feet. And he did so, walking naked and barefooted for
Wow.
3 years.
3 years.
3 years. But in chapter 4, the lesson is stark, and we verse 4 it says, so the king of Assyria led away the Egyptians as prisoners and the Ethiopians as captives, young and old, naked and barefooted, with their buttocks uncovered to the shame of Egypt.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Brother Roy? Wonder if he's still around. I don't know about you. Is there?
No, sir. He's on the platform. His device is connected, but it might be far away from it.
Okay. I don't know what. I don't know about you, but this seems like a command that I would be hesitant about, don't?
Yes, sir, I would.
But it seems as if, as it is written here, that Isaiah was not hesitating, because he says that he did so.
Yes, sir.
Did as the Lord said.
Yes, sir. And we know that there are like seasons. Maybe in the cold season, you would have to walk like that too.
Walking, I don't even want to think about the cold, because I'm one that is really afraid of the cold.
Yes, sir.
You can understand the heat and all that, but walk naked and barefooted.
Yes, sir.
For roughly 3 years, as a sign and a wonder against Egypt and Ethiopia, against Cush, against Africa. That's a strange way, a strange way, just like how, God killed the wife of a prophet,
Yes, sir.
You know, but this one was really strange. Egypt and Cush, their men will be exiled naked by Assyrian. Whoops! You might ask, couldn't God use a next method?
Ah.
But not so.
He's sovereign.
Thank you. And that's just that word. You know, I learned that word some years ago and I never forget it. I try all the time to remember that, in particular
Yes,
when
sir.
difficult times come, that God is sovereign. Don't think that difficult times don't hit you sometimes and your mind. But when you remember that He's sovereign, you say, well, God, you do what you want to do.
Yes, sir.
Isaiah, the prophet, could not change it.
No, sir.
He just had to do what God told him to do.
A good thing at that time there was no social media, no smartphones. Ay,
Well,
man.
you remember the eyes were the smart phone then, you know.
Well, I agree, but nothing that could be saved on the internet forever, though it is written in the book.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's in the book, and once you think about in the book, the brain actually visualizes certain things, don't?
Yes, sir.
But it was unique. But God sent the message, and it did take place.
Yes, sir.
They took the men of Africa, coast North Africa, and naked, took them into their countries. Can you imagine them walking? And you can just go back to the triangular slave trade,
Yes, sir.
where Africans were brought from there back into the West Indies, up back into North America and so forth. The triangular slave trade, part of Europe and all of that type of thing. But here is it. It is God now that is saying this is what's gonna happen. And the prophet had to demonstrate this.
Yes, sir.
Had to demonstrate it. And he says, the inhabitants of the territory will say in that day, surely such is your expectation, whether we flee for help to be delivered from the king of Assyria, and how shall we escape? It doesn't matter what you do, you
Yes,
got to
sir.
miss it. In verse chapter 21, actually push some ideas in where it says the burden came against the wilderness of the sea as whirlwind in the south pass through. So it comes from the desert, from a turbid land. A distressing vision is declared to me. A treacherous dealer deals treacherously, and the plunderer plunders. Go up, O Helam, the siege, O Media. All its sign I have made to cease. Therefore, my lions are filled with pain, prongs from taking hold of me, like the prong of a woman in labor. I was distressed when I heard it. I was dismayed when I saw it. My heart wavered, fearfulness frightened me. The night for which I long, he turned it into fear for me. Prepare the table, set a watchman in the tower, eat and drink. Arise, your princes, anoint shield. And he's going on. He's going on.
Yes,
He's
sir.
saying, oh, this is what will happen.
Yes, sir.
Babylon will be fallen.
Yes, sir. Destroy.
Just as
Nineveh.
Africa, Egypt, Cush, so Babylon will be fallen.
Yes, sir.
And it continues. Do not continues in verse 11 following. They will also, because trouble will come.
Yes, sir.
Trouble will come. It's just that when a people forget God, they must look that they will be punished.
Punish.
Just like the law. You know, I remember getting tickets for speeding already.
Yes, sir.
And you know, a few times, you know, I had to say, yes, sir, I'm wrong. I know that I was going to the excess. A few times I had alibis, but still the alibis didn't give me the right because I've broken the
law.
A few times they would have had mercy on me and says, okay, sir, don't do it again.
Yes, sir.
But a few times, well, I had to go and fork out what the little money that I have to pay.
Okay, sir.
So here is it now. God set a rule and he expects that it must be kept.
Yes, sir.
It must be kept. There's never a right time to get out of it.
The time is right now.
Before you get into it.
Yes, sir.
Then you talk about Arabia. Many figures present. Glory of Kedar to the end. Then the valley of Vision. Many captured. Jerusalem destroyed, vain searching for deliverance, yet not to God. They reveal when morning say, call for no atonement for iniquity until death. Chapter 22, and it's a memory of punishment and all of that actually came upon the land that, you know, you just think about in a rough way. And all of this, scores of people, and if you do your geography right, you'll find out that the whole length and breadth. You talk about Sheena, royal official condemned to his rock-cut tomb. You know, you have Tyre and Sidon, chapter 23. The earth,
sir.
God making the earth desolate, all equally distressed. You know, you just go through violence and devastation.
Yes,
God has punished in chapter 24. Right, so you have the whole thing that God would have set a standard, and when the standard is not met, then a terrible consequence will come. And sometimes we don't know how. You know, sometimes I myself start a question, why?
Yes, sir.
And sometimes get disdaunted and disappointed, but God knows exactly what he is doing. He is the architect of the universe. He does what he wants with it when he wants to.
Yes, sir.
Then in chapter 25 to 27, we have a next song of redemption. You know, glory is coming. You know, relief is coming.
Salvation
is coming. Blessing is coming. And that actually goes straight through. You know, I like it. Chapter 27, and I know I jump a little bit where it says the Leviathan as killed by God on that day. Vineyard of God restored. Israel was the blossom, providing fruit everything coming around. And it's amazing when you look at the meaning of Leviathan. Leviathan is not just any beast, it's one that is terribly powerful.
Okay, sir.
When you study the book of Job, I don't know if you have ever studied the book of Job, but the Leviathan is not, I think you can pull out with an hook. You know, a lot of persons say it's like the crocodile or the alligator, something like that, but it was a great, strong thing there. And it says that has been killed, the Leviathan.
Yes, sir.
But in 28 through 31, and I'm jumping a little bit, that was about 722 BC. Judgment and the rebellious. Ephraim, proud, will be trodden down. And you know, we have touched on this several times this morning. You know, pride will cause the fall. You know, picture
Yes,
of
sir.
people that are drunkards, staggering, you know, nitpicking God's messenger. You know, foreigners will take or make God's purpose clear to them in the destruction. And that is true. You know, I think it was in the book of Psalm. I think it was in the book of Psalm where it says, by the river of Babylon, where yes, Psalm, where I sit down to rest.
Yes, sir.
You know,
137.
yes, you return, man. You know, so here is it. Here is it. God is in control, and we were saying before you came that he uses some strange way to teach. I don't want you to miss this, so I will repeat it a little bit. I know it's can be annoying for maybe Brother Solin, but you know, chapter 20, you should not miss chapter 20, where God caused the prophet to go naked and barefooted for 3 years. Naked and barefooted for 3 years. Anyway, judgment and the rebellious. We look at that. Not only Ephraim because of pride, but those in Zion made covenant with death, falsehood. God as cornerstone of Zion, justice as foundation of the city, terror for the city. And chapter 28 just beam that out. Chapter 24.
Verse 16.
Yeah, well, I pick up from verse 14. And it tells us that although God is our God and he is our refuge, then when we disappoint him, then we are in trouble. 14 says, they shall shift up, lift up their voice, they shall sing for the majesty of the Lord. They shall cry out aloud for the sea. Therefore, glorify the Lord in the dawning light and the name of the Lord of Israel in the coastland of the sea. For the end of the earth, we have heard songs, glory to the righteous. But I said, I am ruined, ruined, woe to me. The treacherous dealers have dealt treacherously. Indeed, the treacherous dealers have dealt treacherously. Fear and pity and snare are upon you, O inhabitants of the earth. And it goes on, where he's going to shoot the earth and violently. The earth is split open and earthquake and all type of things will come when people
disobey.
Yes. Questions or comments?
Just a comment, sir. You know, as we have said when we just started the course, the Bible is Christocentric, so it is all around Christ.
Yes, sir.
The salvation that he will bring. But while looking at all the prophets, whether the minor or major prophets, we can notice that it is all about the disobedience of the children of Israel, or let's say God people, and their punishment and the salvation that they will have if they choose to repent, which shows us that God is really merciful, but at the same time, He is a God of justice.
Yes. Perfectly right, sir. He's a God of mercy and grace, but he's a God of justice. He can become angry. You can irritate God.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's just like back over in Genesis, it says that when he looked and saw that every imagination of man was evil, continuing, it what? Vexed him. He was angry. He was displeased.
Yes,
and he says, really, I'm sorry, I make this earth. I'm going to destroy it. Don't. But he
yes,
found
sir.
a man.
And something else that I could add.
Yes.
Yes, sir. There are certain requirements that the Lord or God made to some of the prophets, which I believe if they were made to us as Christians today, well, we would no longer be preachers.
True.
Like the case of Hosea and what happened here with Isaiah in chapter 20.
True.
Yes, sir.
Brother Roy, you have something you want to say?
Yes, sir. Just a little thing. As we know, the prophets point us to the coming of Christ, and as we are studying the book of Isaiah, it brings us into reality where many of times we disobey God, and as we know, God can be angry at us when we know the right thing and do the opposite of what He wants us to do. And the good thing that God is merciful. He is willing to forgive us at any given time that we fall short of His glory.
Yes.
Again, sir, one thing that we need to remember is that, as we read about it, Lucifer or the morning star is just, all the time trying to deceive, give pride to people so we can go against God's will.
And he's there with everyone, no matter how righteous we might think we are. Satan
Yes,
is ready. I think I was saying it, I think it was yesterday or sometime, that if he tried it with Christ, who are you or who am I, that he will not try it with.
I don't know.
But brethren, in spite of all of the desolation and all of this thing, as I said before, that God really wants to save his people. All right?
Yes,
sir. A picture of redemption. I want you to look at chapter 35. A picture of redemption. Desert bloom, huh? Glory given to it. Glory of God is seen. The weak strengthened in the message of God's vengeance. Those handicapped will be healed. Highway of holiness for the ransom of God. Running or returning to Zion in joy. Chapter 35. It just hit. And we're going to run to chapter 39. Our next class will pick up with 40 So that time might be close, but we'll try to pick up with 40 to go on. But let's go on to chapter 39.
Okay, sir.
Some fulfillment. The day
Yes,
of
sir.
Hezekiah, Isaiah chapter 36 to 39. Some things happened. King Sennacherib invaded our invasion of Zion, Judah, and the speech of,
Sir,
yes,
this same word I see it reoccur. Some time ago we study about it in the Minor Prophet. Is this the same person?
Sennacherib,
Yes, sir.
yes, man, king, great king. And you can
King
read
of
about him
Assyria.
not only in Isaiah 36, but also in 2 Kings chapter 18, 13 to 24. He was one of the great kings, just like Tiglath-Pileser, a great king, Nebuchadnezzar, great king, Babylon, Belshazzar also, Daniel get that name, but he was a great king, but you have these kings.
Yes, sir.
Then there was a reform, and where I was talking about some of the fulfillment. And Hezekiah was reformed or informed, morning, new message from Rakashaka. Rakashaka. Isaiah, Hezekiah's prayers. You remember what happened to Hezekiah?
Hezekiah.
Yes, something notable about
What?
Hezekiah, king.
I believe he was the one who was sick, and they asked him to go and like plunge into the Jordan River.
No. This is the one that God gave a few days to live. He says that you shall die and not live, and he went and prayed to God, and God granted unto him, I think it was 15 more years. But in the 15 more years, he did not do as he should.
Yes, sir.
But he is a good king. He started out as a good king, but after he begged for health and God restored his health, then he became foolish.
Sir.
Yes.
Historically, I saw something some time ago where they said this king here, you make an underground, like a tunnel, something like that.
Yes, man. Water and a water thing here too. He had something like the aqueduct. You see that close to that run into the reservoir.
Yeah, I think we studied that in biblical geography.
Yes. He was a very good king. Very good king.
Yes, sir.
Hezekiah became ill. Maybe we should just read this a little. 2 Kings 20, 1 through 11. Please read that for me. 2 Kings 18, 30, beg your pardon. Come on.
20, sir.
2 Kings 20, 1 through 11.
In those days. All right, go ahead, brother.
In those days, Hezekiah was sick and near death, and Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amoz, went to him and said to him, Thus said the Lord, set your house in order, for you shall die and not live. Then he turned his face toward the wall and prayed to the Lord, saying, Remember now, O Lord, I pray, now I have walked before you in truth and with a loyal heart, and have done what was good in your sight. And Ezekiah wept bitterly. And it happened before Isaiah had gone out into the middle court, that the word of the Lord came to him, saying, Return and tell Ezekiah, the leader of my people, thus saith the Lord, the God of David, your father. I have heard your prayer, I have seen your tears. Surely I will heal you. And on the third day you shall go up to the house of the Lord. And I will add to your days 15 years. I will deliver you and this city Syria, and I will defend this city for my own sake and for my
All right.
sake.
All right, we could stop there. It's just to give you a little hint of Ezekiah. The same thing in chapter 38 of Isaiah. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, I got it all mixed up.
That's what I realized too.
Yeah. So we need to bear that in mind. But the sad thing about it, after he was given that extra 15 years, there were person that brought gift to him from, I think it was either Babylon or Assyria. I think it was Babylon or Syria, one of those countries though, northern countries. And he allowed them to come into his palace and show them all of the great things, the Ark of the Covenant and all of the precious things that God put in there. And as a result of that, he suffered, he died, he was killed.
Yes, sir.
All right. And pressing to the latter part, and I will stop at this. Question or comments that you may have, we're going to stop at 39 and pick up next class with 40. What questions or comments do you all have?
I have none, sir, for the moment.
Neither I, sir.
In chapter 39, there are several things that transpired. But an overall is the prediction of how all Israel will be given over to Babylon, leading to the next section, chapter 40 following. All Israel will be given over to Babylon. So in spite of all of this, this is it. Some important things that transpired in chapter, and we'll stop there. I was about to do a review. We can do that review, if anything, before. But there are a lot of important things that transpired, you know, from chapter 1 through 39, and passages that link. But please now make sure that you have covered chapter 40 through 66 for the next class.
40 to 66. Let me see.
Yes, I know it's a good amount of reading, but we have to, if we want to be able to get on to the other books.
Yes, sir. We need to get to the others.
Sir?
I was saying we need to get to the other books.
Yes, we have Jeremiah and Lamentation that
Yes,
we
sir.
have to deal with, and they are not short book. Jeremiah is a fairly long book also. But
Yes, sir.
next time we'll deal with Isaiah 40 first.
Okay, sir.
All right, and it seems like it's just going to be 2 persons in the class, right?
Yes, sir.
It seems so.
Okay, you take the rest of the class and take, that's about an extra 5-6 minutes and do what you have to do. Y'all keep safe here.
Okay,
All right,
sir.
you
Thank
too,
you.
sir.
You too.
All the best. Thanks.